escort. As the procession reached the village of Emmy Vale, 3 masked men emerged from the crowd and fired a volley of shots. A crowd of several hundred people cheered as the gunmen disappeared. They were to make their getaway in 2 vans. The crowd surged round the vehicles as Irish police and detectives tried to get through. The security forces began to fire shots into the air in an effort to disperse them. A police car was overturned as people grew increasingly hostile. A detective and 2 policemen were caught in a ditch. In the chaos, the vans carrying the gunmen got away and the crowd began to disperse. One detective trapped in the overturned car was freed by colleagues. The incident will embarrass the Irish government, happening on a day in which 2 IRA funerals in Northern Ireland passed without trouble. But in the past, it seems like this surrounding funeral processions in the north, which have concerned both the church and the police.
Today, a retired Major General of the Irish Army.
Would you explain to me, Sean, as fully as possible, why you felt compelled to take action against Britain all those years ago?
Well, I don't consider it so much action against Britain as action for Ireland, for the liberation of Ireland. My principal activity was on the intelligence side. And I had the great good fortune to work for Michael Collins, who was our great man of that movement.
Sean Kavanagh, secret agent for the Irish Republican Army.
Can I ask you, at this stage, if you can throw your mind back, what were your personal emotions that compelled you to become an activist?
What we heard at home from our parents' tradition, father and grandfather and friends and neighbours, that tradition came down every year, every generation. And the school teachers at the time were very actively engaged in teaching history. And Irish history is a tragic history. And if you were an Irishman, just like if you were a native of any country, you love your own country. And people are prepared to make sacrifices for the right to live and to govern their own country.
John O'Sullivan, sometime fighter in the Irish Republican Army, now senior member of the Dáil, the Irish Parliament, from County Cork.
Dr. Thornton, would you please explain to me as fully as possible why you felt compelled to get rid of the British presence here in Ireland?
Because I felt they had no right or reason here. We were a separate island, and we felt we owned it, and we should own it, and no intruder or, I don't know what other word he used, could or should have any act or part in it.
Breed Thornton, a sometime activist for the Irish Republican Army, today a doctor of medicine.
I was always imbued with that spirit that England had no right whatever here, and we wanted at some day or stage to get them out. They were invaders, and we felt that England took up a great attitude of the dreadful doings of the Germans when they occupied Belgium. And I began to feel, and we did in school, why were they here? That there was no reason for them to have invaded Ireland and to have remained so long.
Linus coffin, paramilitary trappings and all, emerged from his home. And the Gardaí could only stand and watch as an IRA colour party followed it out several minutes later, marching defiantly to form up alongside the coffin. There were 9 men and 2 women in the colour party, and responding to commands in Irish, they saluted their dead leader. There was no display of guns, however, and within minutes the IRA men and women marched back into Lina's home, to the cheers and applause of the several thousand onlookers. As the cortege set off for St Macartan's Cathedral, the Gardaí moved in to shadow the mourners, who again linked arms. At one point, Seamus Shannon, who was extradited to the north and acquitted of the murder of Sir Norman Strong and his son, carried the coffin. Shannon is married to a sister of Lina's. The dead man had been wanted in connection with the Strong killings. There was some jostling between mourners and Gardaí en route to the cathedral, where veteran Republican Joe Cahill stood alongside Sinn Féin leaders Gerry Adams and Martin McGuinness. During Requiem Mass, Father Sean Nolan made little reference to the circumstances of Loughgall, a fact attacked later during a graveside oration by Gerry Adams.
Jim Lina died of injustice. At Mass this morning, I thought he may have died of pneumonia. Loughgall will become a tombstone if